everyone, and welcome back to Sunday Reads with Renee. My name is Renee, and I just want to say thank you so much for sharing, liking, commenting, subscribing to my channel. I truly appreciate it as it helps me to grow. But it's that time of year. It is now June, and summer is upon us, or has just started, and it's great. You know, the sun is here, the weather is going to be nicer. It's going to be a great time, and that means summer read season, especially with beach reads. Now, the summer read season was an interesting one for me because when I looked up the definition of summer reads, it can be a variety of things. It's meant to be engaging, entertaining, enthralling, with escapism, easy reads, able to take it on the go. So there's a lot of different varieties that you can do with, such as gripping thrillers, heartwarming romances, dramas, fictions, comedies, pretty much anything that would be a great beach read to curl up with a book when you're traveling or by the water, whether it's at the beach or the pool. So it's a variety of different things, and I came up with a list of quite a lot of different books that we can do, whether they're related to the beach or to the basic definition. But I decided on 10 books that you're about to see because I feel these books are very much fitting with a summer read, and I'm going to leave a list of other books as well at the end of the video just so you can look at those as well to get ideas for your reading list this summer or just your reading list in general throughout the year. I do think these books represent a lot about what summer reads are all about and what they can give to you for entertainment and a lot of thought-provoking process as well, because some of them do have that embedded in the plot. Before I begin with the 10 lists, though, I just want to say that I'm going to be revealing plot points, therefore spoilers are ahead, and I'll be using alternative words and phrases because of YouTube rules and regulations. The first one is Beach Read by Emily Henry, and I was debating between whether I should do People We Meet on Vacation or Beach Read, and ultimately I decided to do Beach Read. But if you want to know my opinions and thoughts and review for People We Meet on Vacation, I'll leave a link in the description as I read it earlier this year. But the reason I chose Beach Read is because it is Emily Henry's debut, published in 2020, and I feel this is one that should be worth a relook if you haven't read it yet or have read it before and maybe just want to give it another try. But basically, Beach Read is about two people who meet in unexpected circumstances and a potential romance starts to form, as most Emily Henry books go about. But what it's about is a young woman named January, and she is a successful author of romance books, a lot of it shaped by the love that her parents had for each other. But after her father's passing, she discovers a dark secret that he'd actually been having a long-time affair with another woman. And after her relationship falls apart, a long-term one, she ends up really not believing in romance, which puts her in writer's block. She's unable to finish a manuscript that her publisher wants. And so she decides to take the summer in a small town in Michigan that's very touristy to really think about things. Only the small town is actually home to a lake house that her father had owned and left to her. And so she's not really happy to be at this because she's grappling with his passing, but also the secret he held. But nonetheless, she decides to stay there for the summer with plans to sell it at the end of summer and also work on her manuscript to finish what she needs to do for her publisher. Now, during this time, she ends up meeting her neighbor, Gus, who is actually a college rival from years ago. They end up really connecting and starting to bond, but they end up also really having a bit of banter back and forth to their rivalry and the cynicism they have for each other's different types of genres. Gus is a writer of more dark literary fiction, whereas January is more about romance. Gus doesn't believe in romance. He thinks it's cynical and doesn't like her happy endings, while January always thought that his dark take on things was not the right path to go. And so they have some interesting conversations about it, and ultimately, because they both are battling with writer's block, they decide to do a contest for fun, where January will write dark literary fiction and really embrace her inner darkness a little bit more, while Gus will try to write romantic fiction and really embrace the romance side. So it creates this fun project between them, but they also end up truly bonding and connecting over it, as they're also grappling with a lot of other personal issues, some things that Gus has in his life that he doesn't yet reveal until more towards the middle end of the novel, which causes a bit of friction. But nonetheless, Beach Read is a great one. It takes place in a touristy town, it's in the summertime, but you also get a budding romance, a thought-provoking narrative that really comes about. So there's personal growth and journey there as well. So I do recommend Beach Read for a summer season, and if you're a Emily Henry fan, this is great for you. And even if you're not a fan of her work, this is a great one to curl up by the beach and enjoy a nice book. The Summer Pact by Emily Giffin. And this is a 2024 published novel that I read last year for summer, and I'll leave a link in the description to my review and opinions on that. But I do recommend this one because it not only takes place by beautiful water and in different overseas locations, but it also takes a lot about personal journey and growth, a little bit of romance, and a lot of discussion as well as the power of friendship. But basically, it's about friends Lainey, Hannah, Tyson, and Summer who meet in their college freshman year. They're very different from each other in a lot of ways, but nonetheless, they end up bonding and connecting and really getting along. A friendship forms. They're very tight knit, close people with each other. But then, as graduation nears, tragedy strikes where one of them ends up passing away unexpectedly. And it's a very tragic one, which I can't reveal here because I don't want to spoil, but also YouTube rules and regulations. But it's such a tragic event that they end up forming a pact, the three remaining friends, that they're always going to be there for each other no matter what. 10 years later, Hannah is now needing them more than ever. She was ready to get married, engaged, looking forward to that, only to discover that her fiance had been cheating on her, and thus she's very devastated. And she contacts her friends in order to really try and form that pact and keep the one that they kept 10 years ago. And they end up going on this journey of getting away for a while together and just exploring personal growth and development, especially with a lot of the things they're going through. But this is a great book. I actually think it's one of Emily Giffin's best works. Bear in mind, I've only read about four of them, but I do think out of the four that I read last year, this one was the best one. I thought it was well written. It has personal growth and journey. It has the power of friendship as a great theme. It deals with a couple of hard topics, but nonetheless, ones that are great to discuss and really give you a lot of thought-provoking discussion. And the reason it also fits with a beach read is because I find it's easy to get through, but it also makes you think. It's entertaining, and it really provides a sort of escapism while also making you think about a lot of different things, including where your life is headed. As someone who's in their 30s, I've also thought about that a lot and starting over and such. But I really like the power of friendship in this one, and I think it's a very good thing to have, especially when you're facing good times or bad times and hard times as well. So I do recommend The Summer Pact by Emily Giffin as a summer read. You won't be disappointed. Jettsetters by Amanda Eyre Ward. Published in 2020, this is a book about an elderly woman who really wants to try and reunite her disconnected family on a cruise ship contest. And this one is a very interesting one in some regards because it does take place along European waters, so it does fit in with a summer read on a cruise ship, but it's also a lot about a disconnected family trying to reunite and really work on the issues that have caused them to have some separation and estrangement. Basically, it's about a woman named Charlotte, who is an elderly lady, widowed, who really wants to reunite her family, who are disconnected and living their own lives, of course, but so busy with it, they're not really communicating properly or really trying to get together more often. And so she submits an essay about a time in her life in order to really try and win this contest on a 10-day cruise ship called the Become a Jet Setter contest. She ends up winning it and invites her entire family over, who are now in their 30s and dealing with their own issues. And as they go through that 10-day cruise, they end up really reuniting, reconnecting, and trying to work out the issues that they've had all along these European waters. And even Charlotte herself starts to deal with a lot of things from her past that she's been really holding in and really trying to reconnect with as well. So this is a good one in some ways because it really fits the summer reads of being along these European waters in the summertime and nice times, whether it's Barcelona, Rome, or Athens. So that really fits with the summer read, but it also deals a lot with personal growth and journey, families reconnecting with each other, them ending up going on these whole different types of journeys themselves separately and together. So it really does fit with all those thought-provoking moments. There are some things in here which are hard topics and triggering, but nonetheless do give a lot of you to think about different types of things and stuff in your life and how getting away a little bit can help that, but also allow you to really reconnect with yourself in some ways. And a theme about this is family, trying to create family dynamics, reconnecting, and really trying to get to know yourself as well as your family members again after you've been disconnected for so long. So this is one that I do recommend as a beach read. So you can read it along the beach waters or at the pool and really just enjoy and really get a lot of thought-provoking moments too. Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. Published in 2025, this is the first book in Abby Jimenez's series, Say You'll Remember Me. And this is an excellent one that fits in well with a beach read because it is a heartwarming romance, but it also has some triggering topics, hard topics, and some thought-provoking moments. But at the core of it is a heartwarming romance. It's all about these two people, Xavier and Samantha. Xavier is a veterinarian in Minneapolis, Minnesota, who owns his own clinic and very dedicated to his job, but he's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder in some ways where he likes to kind of state some facts here and there. Whereas Samantha is living in Minneapolis, Minnesota, working remotely as a social media marketer for a mustard company. And she's someone who's a little bit more carefree and funny and not afraid to speak her mind. So as a result, the two clash when they first meet, but then they end up going on a date one evening and really connecting and bonding and getting to know each other a little better, where even Xavier reveals some things about his childhood, which was very traumatic with toxic parents and how leaving them when he was 17 was the best thing to happen to him. And he went on to build a successful career as a veterinarian, whereas Samantha is also dealing with her own issues back in her home state of California, where her family is grappling with her mother now being diagnosed with dementia. And they really hit it off because Samantha has decided to go back to California to help with the family. They end up realizing, hey, this can never work because we can't do long distance. But Xavier is willing to try, and so is Samantha. So they end up really doing this long distance relationship, which takes a toll a lot on them. But they end up really trying to make it work and really trying to make it go for it because they like each other so much and they really bond and develop over time while also grappling with some issues personally that are together and apart. But what I really love about this one is that the couple, Xavier and Samantha, are really great together. I felt invested with this couple. I really enjoyed them. And while this is something you can curl up with at the beach, it's also something you could read year round. And I think it's just a great book, and it's really what made me fall in love with Abby Jimenez as an author. She really has a good way of really writing a heartwarming romance. And if you would like, you can see the link down in the description box of my review of her book, The Night We Met, which was just published this year and is the second one in the Say You'll Remember Me series. So this is just one that is great. Both of them are, of course, but I really like Say You'll Remember Me. I enjoy the couple. I enjoy their growth journey. I like some of the characters and how they grapple with things as well. And I really just enjoyed this one. And I think it's a great summer beach read for everyone to really enjoy and get some thought-provoking moments on as well. So this is one that I do recommend. The next one is The Beach Club by Elin Hilderbrand. And this is a book that was Hilderbrand's debut work, published in 2000. For any of you who are familiar with her works, you'll know that she does a lot of beach reads set in Nantucket. And this one was really fitting for, I feel, summer read because you have it by the Nantucket Beach Club and Hotel, which is a very exclusive club for a single summer as a hurricane rains down on it at the end of the season. And you also have a lot of interwoven perspectives from different characters. But basically what this is about is the wives of the people who are connected to this hotel in some way, shape, or form, whether they're guests or workers. You have Mac, who is the hotel manager, who's grappling with some personal issues. He likes being here on Nantucket Island, but now he's up for some life changes where he has to decide if he needs to return to Iowa to run the family farm after his parents' passing, or if he needs to stay here at the hotel. And he's also trying to figure out whether he should pursue a future with his longtime girlfriend and propose to her or move on with his life. And then you also have the desk worker who named Love, who is happy in her job, but she also is really wanting a child and to start a family because she feels time is running out. So there's a lot of different types of characters in this book, including the hotel owners as well as their daughter who's just graduated from high school and they want her to really join the family business, but she isn't interested. So you have a lot of different types of interwoven stories coming in from multiple perspectives. In some ways, it reminds me of a book I read earlier this year called The Reservation by Rebecca Kaufman, and one I recommend, where it takes place in that book at a restaurant where they're grappling with a mystery of missing steaks, but they're also talking about the workers' lives and everything going on in their world, including the personal issues as well as the life changes they're experiencing. And the beach club is very much reminiscent of that. It just takes place during summer on the island of Nantucket, and it's really just a dramatic type of novel that really has a bit of comedy to it, but it also has some personal growth journey as well. So this is one that I do recommend as a beach read and summer read because I do think it just is very fitting for it for the season, and it takes place on Nantucket, of course. And it does have a little bit of dramatic effects here and there, a little bit of hard topics too, but overall, it is a good book for a nice summer read that you can just enjoy. It's a little bit of a lighter read in some regards as well, so it's one that I recommend. The next one is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. So this is a classic novel published in 1925 and still remains 101 years later. I also had a review of this last fall, so I'll put a link in the description as well, just so you can get my thoughts and perspectives on it. But the reason I recommend this for a summer read is because it takes place on Long Island near New York City with parties, waters, and beautiful weather, but it also has a lot of things going on in the background. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the story, it's about a man named Jay Gatsby, who's a self-made millionaire. He's done very well for himself, but he still holds on to the hope that he can reunite with his former girlfriend named Daisy Buchanan, who was the love of his life, and he can't really get past that. And when they end up reuniting, thanks to Daisy's cousin Nick, who's become a mutual friend of Jay Gatsby, they end up really bonding and reconnecting, but there's a lot of tragedy and issues that come its way. And so this is a short read, first and foremost. So if you're someone that maybe doesn't want to read a big, long, thick book by the beach, you can always read a short one like this one called The Great Gatsby, which is a great American classic with a lot of themes on the American dream or lack thereof. But it really is a story about self-made millionaires, parties, and also just how that doesn't really lead to happiness and how sometimes going back to your former love may not be the best thing. And there's a lot of tragedy that does occur in this, of course, but it is a great book. It's very well written. It's, of course, set in Long Island by all these parties and the water, so it's fitting for a summer read and a beach read. But it's one that I do recommend because it's also very thought-provoking with a lot of interesting themes. So this is one, again, that I do recommend. Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. And this is a book that was published in 1938 and remains a Gothic epic classic ever since, and for good reason, because it has a romance, a mystery, and a lot of secrets that come along the way. But why do I include this as a summer read is because it does start off as one, where a young unnamed woman is a paid companion to an elderly woman spending the summer on Monte Carlo, and it's beautiful waterways, exquisite resort, everything you could ever want for a beautiful summer. And she ends up meeting a man named Maxim de Winter. He's a wealthy man from England, and they instantly hit it off and connect and bond. He's older than her, of course, but they do nonetheless connect and bond. And they end up having a whirlwind romance, marry, and she goes back to his estate of Manderley, which is this exquisite, beautiful state. But it does go from a beautiful summer scene to a more colder environment in different ways, because when she comes to Manderley, she's having to deal with the staff, which is something she's not used to as a person who grew up very middle class and in a small area. And she also really doesn't bond too much with the whole high society ways completely. And she really struggles with that. But she's also struggling and grappling with the fact that she's in the shadow of Maxim de Winter's first wife, Rebecca, who was the pillar of society, beautiful, wonderful, magnificent. Everyone loved and adored her completely. And so she's in this constant shadow of a woman who has since passed away, but she's having to grapple with the ghost and shadow of this woman nonetheless, and having to be compared to her constantly. And as time goes on, she ends up really trying to grow a little bit into her new role as a high society person and this beautiful proprietor of Manderley, and really trying to fit into that society role while also trying to grapple with the fact that her husband may still be in love with his late wife and can't really get past her. But there are a bunch of secrets and unexpected circumstances that come along that really reveal more to that marriage than was previously disclosed. And as a result, you get this wonderful Gothic mystery that is well written, really engaging, entertaining completely. There's a lot of twists and turns along the way, but I do recommend this as a summer read because it is a great Gothic novel. It has a bit of romance in it. It has these two people who love each other, but it does show a lot of things between them with a little bit of imbalance here and there. And there's also, of course, the beautiful drama, the wonderful court scene that takes place, the housekeeper, Mrs. Danvers, who ends up turning out to be more than what she appears and is the villain of the story, written very well, mind you. But it is a great book. I do recommend it if you haven't read it yet, because it is a perfect one for summer beach read season. Anatomy of an Alibi by Ashley Elston. Out of all the thrillers I've read so far this year, whether they're new or from years ago, this is the best one I've read this year, especially the newly published one. So this was published earlier this year in 2026 and is an excellent page-turning thriller that I think is perfectly fitting for a summer season because it is a very gripping one in many regards. But it's all about two women named Camille and Audrey. Now, Camille is married to a man named Ben and seems to have this picture-perfect life with him. They live the good life in a lot of ways, but Camille believes that Ben is hiding a lot of dirty secrets, but she can't really prove it. And so she ends up meeting Audrey, who is a young woman that ended up having her life changed forever from an event over a decade ago. And so these two women connect and bond over Camille's situation, and so they decide to hatch a plan together. Camille has Audrey pretend to be her for about 12 hours while Camille spies on Ben in order to uncover his secrets. It seems like an open and shut plan, very easy to do, but life has other plans, and there's a lot of unexpected circumstances that come along the way that have great tragic consequences. But nonetheless, this is a great page-turning thriller. It's gripping, it's phenomenal, it has these twists and turns, it's just wonderful. I really enjoyed this so much. It was a great thriller, great mystery thriller. It has a lot of page-turning. I like the characters. I saw some unexpected twists there that I wasn't expecting, and if you'd like my review of it, I'll leave a link in the description, of course. But I do recommend this one for all your gripping thriller needs because it really does fit with a summer read, gripping thriller, but it's also just a great one in general. I found myself really enthralled and entertained by it. So definitely one I recommend, Anatomy of an Alibi. Waiting to Exhale by Terry McMillan. This 1992 classic novel became a huge classic 1995 critically acclaimed film starring Angela Bassett and Whitney Houston, but nonetheless, I recommend the book. And the reason I think this is a good summer read is because it is something you can curl up with at the beach and really enjoy, and it's entertaining with a lot of thought-provoking moments, including personal journey and growth. Basically, it's about these four friends who, at the start of the new year of 1990, end up going through different challenges in their lives. They already had them before, but 1990 proves to be a year where they're going to hit their hardest times, but also hopefully make it out in the end with the bond of the friendship they have. And their four friends, Gloria, Bernadine, Savannah, and Robin, who are all at different stages of their life and dealing with midlife as well. Savannah is a TV producer who's very successful in her job, but unfortunately she's struggling to find someone to settle down with and connect with and seems to really just not find the right person. Similar with Robin, she's an insurance underwriter who is always finding a man to really gravitate to and have a relationship with it, but it's always an unreliable man, and she really wants to also settle down and start a family. Gloria is a single mother with one child who's very content in her life running her hair salon, but she's also struggling to really grapple with things from her past as well as her present. And Bernadine is someone who is married with children. She's had a successful career for herself in some regards, but she ends up really grappling with a divorce because her husband has cheated on her and decided to leave her for the person he's been having this affair with. And he doesn't want to leave her with anything above the money that she needs to pay her monthly bills. And Bernardine's like, no, this isn't going to happen. And so these four women are grappling with everything that's going on in the year of 1990. And they also go on this journey of really trying to grow, evolve as people, and go through the ups and downs of life while also maintaining their friendship. But what I like about Waiting to Exhale is that it is a very good book. It has a lot of heartwarming themes with the friendship at the center. It has these women who are having their ups and downs and their challenges, but are trying to make it through the best they can and find the path they need to go. But the character that really interested me was Bernadine, and Angela Bassett handled that so well in the 1995 version, and that really really comes through also in the 1992 novel. So that was my favorite character overall. But I really liked all these women and the power of friendship they have. They make their mistakes, they have their ups and downs, but nonetheless, they stick together as they go through the motions of life and everything that's thrown at them and try to move forward in the best way they can. So, Waiting to Exhale is one that I do recommend. It's a very good beach read. It has some thought provoking moments, it deals with the power of friendship as well, and it's one that I just recommend overall. The Flight Attendant by Chris Bohjalian. Published in 2018, this is an excellent gripping thriller that is perfect for summer, and it also has adventure to it because it involves a flight attendant grappling with a mystery and trying to solve it. But what's great about this novel is that it's all about a woman named Cassandra, who is a great flight attendant, loves a sense of adventure, being able to go to different places, but she also is grappling with her own issues. She is a binge drinker. She's not really dealing with the fact that she has an addiction to binge drinking. And then at a hotel one morning in Dubai, she wakes up to discover the man she spent the night with is deceased in a very violent way. And she has no clue what happened because she did a lot of drinking the night before, and unfortunately she's having these blackouts as a result, like she has before. But now she goes off on this whole adventure of lying to everyone, the FBI, the police, family and friends, about what happened, saying, oh no, I couldn't have done it. But she's also struggling, like, could I have done it though? Can I remember it? And it sends off on this adventure type mystery thriller to really grapple with the fact that she could have done this, or trying to at least uncover the mystery of it. And it creates a huge gripping thriller, adventure thriller as well. And it is an excellent book. I really thought it was a great page turner with some twists and turns. And it's something that Chris Bohjalian is very good at. If you've ever read his other works, such as The Red Lotus, you'll know what I'm speaking of. And this was also turned into an HBO Max series that is great, and I highly recommend it. Kaylee Cuoco plays a great role as well. And what I do think about this book that really makes it a great summer read is that it is, of course, a gripping thriller. It's very engaging and entertaining. It makes you think a lot about things. Cassandra is kind of a polarizing character in some ways, at least I think so, because on the one hand, you like her and sympathize with her. On the other hand, you'll say, yeah, you got to get it together there. But I really enjoyed this one, and I do recommend it as a summer beach read. You won't be disappointed because it's an excellent, gripping, psychological thriller with a lot of great mystery and adventure. So this is one I recommend. And this concludes my 10 book recommendations for the summer season. And here's a list of the ones that I also recommend. But these are the 10 books that I recommend. Now tell me what you think. Do you agree with me, not agree with me? Have you read these books? Have you not read these books? Do you think about rereading them if you have read them? Please let me know in the comments section below, as I welcome all discussions, and also send other recommendations as well. I thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell. I'll be back next Sunday with another video, Wednesday with a random video, Friday with a food video, and some shorts in between. I have a few that are coming up, which I'm very excited for. I thank you so much for tuning in again, and I'll see you next time. Bye.